Thank you all for joining to our monthly updates webinar. And my name is Venugopal. I'm a practicing chartered accountant. Been in practice since 2002. It's been 22 years. We've been doing this webinar every month since GST with an intent that all the finance professionals should get updated about the GST, the latest aspects. And we also have an endeavor that we finance professionals should upgrade ourselves in the technology. It's very important that there are new technologies that are emerging. I'm sure most of you would have heard about Sora that has come last week, where the videos get contented, right? The GPTs have traveled from GPT-1 to GPT-4, and with the Sora being there, which is creating basis the text, automated animated videos it is creating. So the technology on the other side is moving much far ahead. It's our duty. I'm not saying that like it is good to learn, but as a finance professionals, if you are not updating yourself in technology as to what else you have to bring forward in the day-to-day aspects, that is too bad, right? So we have an endeavor so that we ourselves in the process we get updated and we bring out new things. So in today's session of GST and tech, on the aspect of the GST, we are definitely going to look at as to a quick brief of updates. But more importantly, we are on 24th February. So we are completing the year 23-24 very soon. So rather than looking at whatever the corrections that you have to do in 23-24 in the financial year 24-25, we all know section 37 3 proviso or section 39 proviso permits you to make corrections anything if you have till the returns that you are filing on or before 30th November. But we all know it will be very difficult to explain to an officer that the taxes of 23-24 paid in 24-25, while he says that, oh, look, I don't know, I am not assessing that period, so I would want to disallow. These are the quite common statements we've been hearing. So it is better we take a charge of the accounts now that the audit assessment for the various periods have completed. During the course of audit assessment, department have looked into different aspects and they have come out various things. So we would be looking at those aspects, and we also would look at from terms of getting ready for 24-25, what are the key things that you have to do, right? And lastly, though it is a repeat, we have earlier covered on GSTR 1 update. Some of you have missed, but there are two new tables, table 14 and 15, which got added. So we are going to look at that. That is on the GST part. And I have my colleague Ashika who would be leading that. And on the tech part, we have integration with the Tally, where we would show how you can do a communication to your vendors on the payments in an automated way, the receipts being sent, whether Tally is open, not open, if the email ID exists, doesn't exist, in a multiple permutation combinations. I'm sure by now all of you have upgraded your Power BI and Power Pivot skills. Tarun had been showing various aspects of it. So we will again show you a reporting tool in Power Pivots with Power Queries. How do we extract the data from Tally? You might be pretty sure aware, most of you go to, if you want trial balance, you go display trial balance and F12 opening, closing, you will give it and export to Excel. You say, hey, look, everything I know, I can always look into Excel. But when the volume is huge and you want to extract transactions and you want to also use the additional join different aspects, how do we do it? How do we write that? We would be looking at it. We had once spoken about a function called let. There was a request that came up saying that, okay, we would want to explore that function again. Let is another simple, powerful function, which is it is like a program which is written within in the Excel. We are going to look at the let function. These are the coverage for the today's session. And I would request Ashika to start the GST session. Ashika, over to you.
So screen is visible.
Yeah.
So as Sir said, that we are in the month of Feb, but we are doing in advance this DST health checkup for the financial year 23-24. Reason being one of the is about the litigation part. Now, as most of you must have received some or the other notices, you will notice that whenever any impact of 1 year is taken forward to the subsequent year, either officer is little reluctant to look into that issue, or he is like that his work will increase if he has to check for subsequent year. So that's why it's very important that if any error or any mistake might have happened in 23-24 is taken care in this financial year only, though the GST law permits you to do the amendment till 30th November. One the reason is this. And second reason is, problem is when you will see GST auto populated data which are being done in GST portal, over there also whatever changes been made in one financial year relating to that in that financial year is only auto populating. The impact which you have taken for the finance, suppose for financial year 23-24 some amendment you have done in 24-25, in that auto populated data it is not taking properly. As a result of this also, multiple auto notices have been issued and we were required to devote times over there. So it's better that year anything need to be done is been done in that year and is been closed. So our flow of session will be, first we will be seeing what are the things or what you need to be careful for 23-24 you should verify. Then books of account closure, getting ready for 24-25, and then the GSTR1 update. Starting with the first part, GST Health Check for financial year 23-24. Now, in this, we will subdivide our part into three. First is our GST liability, means the tax which is payable by you. Second, your input tax credit, ITC eligibility. Third is your reverse charge mechanism. These are the three things you need to check under GST to make sure you are compliance ready. So starting with the GST liability, that is outward supply. Now, if you will notice in your books of account, your supply can be anywhere. Now, when we say supply can be anywhere, the problem is when we look at the PL or our profit and loss account, we just only look for the sales made, which is the biggest mistake we are doing. We don't give importance to other heads which are there, because the way the supply is defined under GST is very extensive, and it's not limited only to your PL, it also extends to your assets and liabilities. So you need to be very careful. There may be a places you might have missed out where GST liability is arising. Now, like if you will see credit side, okay, income sale, it is taken care. But when it comes to other head of income, indirect income, over there, people have a tendency of missing the liability. Like most common is like discount and incentive, which are more or less are used as interchangeable, but they are not interchangeable. It need to be checked whether it is in nature of actually discount received or it is in the nature of incentive. Because when it is a discount received, okay, no GST. But when it is in the nature of incentive, GST comes into picture and it need to be paid. So every time you need to be careful. Instead of focusing only on direct income, it will not work. Then sometime we do our set off with the expenses. So if we incurred some expenses while providing that service or while delivering that good, like suppose for example, most common is transportation charges. Now, when we incur those expenses for the purpose of delivery of goods to end consumer, sometimes freight inward and outward we set it off, and result of it, sometimes tax is not discharged. So we need to be careful any of such circumstances if net off is done, the part which you have recovered from your customer on that tax has been paid. Coming to your yes.
Yeah. So on the credit side of the P&L, I just want to add, owing to some of the notices that we have addressed. So friends, as Ashika rightly mentioned, that if it is a discount received from your vendors, if it's a discount that has come from vendors, then you are of course not treating it as you're treating it as other income, but not a supply. So the one way of handling it is you can reduce it to your expenditure cost, your purchase cost. But since the purchase bill has accounted, there are many who choose not to reduce it to the purchase cost, treat it as another income. So when you treat this as another income, the first primary question that comes is, should this be treated as an additional value to the supply under 15 subsection 2? Now, this is where adding it as an additional value under the supply 15 subsection 2 will fail, because it is not a supply. So when this is not a supply, the another question that may come up is, since you have not made the payment to the supplier within 180 days. So what we are now talking is the second proviso to 16 subsection 2. So the officer may come back and say that, hey, look, you have not made the payment to the supplier, please reverse the tax. Now, two important points which I want to bring here is, again, as a litigation, this will be helpful. If you have received the notice asking you to pay to the supply, first you got to say that this is not a supply, hence that levy would fail. So grossly that demand cannot sustain. But if the instead of asking you to pay an output tax, if the officer is giving you a notice saying that, okay, you reverse ITC proportionately, even there you have to bring this point. Oh, there's an echo. You have to bring the point saying that the recipient has failed to pay to the supplier, only then reversal of ITC comes. Here, there is no failure on the part of the recipient to make the payment to the supplier. Like I have to pay 1000 rupees to the supplier. Supplier has given me some discount of 10 rupees. My liability to pay is only 990, which I have paid it off. So even the reversal of ITC would not come up. So it's a fit case for you to fight. But contrarily, where Ashika has mentioned the point, if it is in the nature of incentive, then even though you are getting it from your vendor, 15 subsection 2 would be attracted. What is the difference between the nature of incentive versus nature of discount? Stephen, can you mute other people? Yeah.
Okay,
So,
sir.
if it is nature of supply discount versus nature of incentive, let me give you a classic example. Let's say I am a dealer of mobile phones, and my principal has given me a mandate that if you do 1 crore purchases from me, I will give you additional 5 lakh rupees discount. Now, after I make 1 crore purchases from him, he has given me 5 lakh rupees extra. So instead of paying him 1 crore, I am now paying 95 lakhs. This 5 lakhs I am writing as another income, it will not attract supply. But the contrary, if my supplier says that I want you to promote this product by offering discount to the customers, and whatever be the discount that you are offering, I'll make good your discount by 5 lakh rupees. So he is giving me an incentive for me to sell it better. Now, when I am selling it to my customers with a discount, back of my mind, I know that I'm going to get 5 lakh from my supplier. This is an activity which is in the nature of incentive. 15 subsection 2 would be covered and taxes would be applicable. So any line item which is there in other income, please comb all those line items, analyze all those transactions. If you have no intention to pay the taxes, classify them as nil rated supply or exempted specifically, or non-GST supplies, or it is a no supply. Do that classification of all the items of your income. And if you do now, you will be having, if some liability is arising, better you can pay it now. Yes, Ashika, you can proceed.
Now coming to the asset side of balance sheet. Now there can be sale of fixed asset. Now on sale of fixed asset, you are liable to pay GST. And it has been noticed now most of the people, as the more than 5 years have been went in GST, are paying the tax on the sale value. But over here, the error which is noticed is valuation. Normally, sale of fixed asset for the purpose of valuation on the value which you are going to realize, you are liable to pay GST. But however, differentiation come when there is a asset where you have claim with ITC, there is a asset without ITC. One. Second, when there is a sale of fixed asset other than motor vehicle and where there is a sale of motor vehicle. Now for motor vehicle sale, there is a specific valuation has been specified by notification 8. What does it say? If you have not claimed ITC, then you can pay tax on the difference of sales price minus written down value as per Income Tax Act. So the profit element which you are getting for the motor vehicle on which you have not claimed ITC, then you can go on this margin basis and you are liable to pay on this margin amount. However, it has been noticed that most of the people just going by way of sale value are paying taxes, which is incorrect. Second part, where you are claiming ITC. Now, where you are not claiming ITC on your fixed asset, not an issue. You pay the tax on sale value, chapter closed. But when it comes to the part where you have claim ITC, you need to be careful because it will be higher of the two. The ITC which you have claimed divided by proportionate period. That is a rule 43 which says that 60 months. So you will be eligible to the extent of asset hold by you divided by 60 months, and the balance which you are before 60 months you are selling, you are liable to reverse ITC of that, or the tax which is payable on the sale value, whichever is higher, you need to pay for it. That has not been followed. So that you need to be careful about it. Now, liability sides of balance sheet, advances. Most of the people are not paying tax on the advances. As we know, even though on goods there is no tax, but when it comes to services, any amount which is received by you, you are liable to pay tax on the same. It may be a case that it may be paid later when the invoice is raised. But due to this timing difference, when the advance was received and when the invoice was raised, due to that timing difference, you would be liable to pay interest. So it's better if you are receiving an advance, you have to also follow a documentation that you have to issue a receipt voucher for it. So you issue a receipt voucher. As you know, in GSTR 1, there is a separate table to show all those things. So you have to show there and you have to show your liability and pay taxes when the advance is received. Then is come the outside financial statement. When we say outside financial statement, we mean to say the transaction which are happening between inter units. Like, as we know, when there is a sale from one GSTN to another GSTN, you are liable to pay tax on the same. Even though it is actually not a sale, if we see from the pen side, but from the GST side, it has been considered as a sale. Another important thing on this is about the cross charge or input service distribution. As you know, earlier the government has come with circular 199 where they have said, as of now, I'm allowing you no problem if you haven't followed the cross charge or ISD method. They have given a one-time pardon to you. But recently only in the budget, they have proposed about ISD definition change and the mechanism of calculation of the same. So now you need to be careful if you are having multi-GSTN, then make sure you comply with it and you have to be careful. It's not that cross charge or ISD, any of it you can opt. Both have a different meaning. ISD is for your internally generated services, which is common to all your units. That you have to distribute the credits of those expenses to your units. Similarly is your cross charge. So you have to check which one is applicable and accordingly you have to apply those. Then while seeing your books of accounts, you have to be careful your income which you have recorded, you properly classify what is it, if it is a deemed supply, stock transfer, cross charge, or a normal regular sale it is, then what the classification you opted for it. Means what is the GST rate you are applying, what is the HSN code you are using. Now all this are mandatory field even in your GST reporting. E-way bill also it need to be reported. This classification plays a very important role. Sometimes, due to this classification issue only, higher rate may get applicable. So you have to see why you opted. Because if multiple rates are applicable to any goods or service, you have to careful which classification you opted, what is the HSN code you have used, and accordingly apply. Reason being, rate notification comes with the ITC barred also, because somewhere they have to specify lower GST rate with no ITC. So you have to be careful which rate or classification you are opted, and you should have a supporting for that classification. Valuation, like we discussed about the sale of vehicle, discount and incentive. So you need to be careful how you are valuing. Valuing most probably comes into picture in case of your inter-unit supplies, because over there is a rule 28 which they have recently amended, and they have said if you are eligible for 100% ITC, then it's not a problem. Whatever value you are mentioning in your invoice, it is I will allow. But where ITC is not eligible to your counter unit, then you need to be careful what value you are opting for it. And secondly, they recently also came with the personal guarantees, where the directors are giving guarantees and corporate guarantees. So director guarantee, they said no tax. But when it comes to corporate guarantee, they have specified, provided the rule, how it need to be value need to be done. So be careful if any guarantee has been given and you are showing in your audited balance sheet in the past year and it has been continued. Make sure you pay the taxes for the same. Then time and place of supply. Like we discussed, in case of advances, on date of receipt you are liable to pay, though generally it has been noticed that people are paying when they are raising invoice. Place of supply plays a very important role. Place of supply not only play important role for the supplier, where he is required to charge the type of tax based on it, but it also play an important role for the recipient also. Because just for example, if we take renting of immovable property. Now, in case of renting of immovable property, your place of supply is where movable property is located. Now, if being I am in Bangalore, Karnataka, property is located in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Over there, if anybody, if your supplier will be raising an invoice, but he will be raising an invoice with place of supply as CGST and SGST, even though he is supplying to a registered person located in a Bangalore, he won't be charging IGST. In that case, being a recipient, I won't be eligible for ITC of it, because over there, state GST is your Tamil Nadu GST. So you need to be careful what place of supply you are opting. If you will notice in your GSTR 2B, that data is automatically now getting restricted and being auto-populated in 4D2. So your reporting will not only impact you, but also your counterparties. So you need to be careful for it. Then you have to see your debit notes also. If there has been increase or decrease in tax rate, or you have or you have collected anything in addition to the value of goods or services provided. Like there may be a case you might be asking to pay interest on delay payment. Due to bouncing of check, you might be collecting a penalty charges. So all that you have to see whether it will form part of your value, whether tax will be livable or not, if livable, have been properly paid. Now coming to the credit note part. Now the most common mistake which we have noticed in the credit note part is Wherever people feel they are not able to recover the amount, they raise credit note. But it need to be kept in mind, note under GST is not for bad debt. That is the common mistake people are doing and saying, and as a result, officers are demanding for ineligibility of this credit note in term of section 34. Reason being, under section 34, they have provided a specific criteria only when you can raise the credit note. This is when there is a deficiency in your provision of service or goods, when there is a difference in the tax rate or taxable value. Only then you can raise credit note. Credit note is not like anything wherever you are not able to collect or anywhere you have to write off. You can't raise credit note. Even if you raise that credit note, the tax benefit is not eligible to you. So be careful whenever you are writing off, don't do credit note. Otherwise, when the audit or investigation happen, and if you give that reason, they will straight away disallow the tax benefit if you have taken. If you have simply written off, then not an issue.
Yeah. So one point which I would like to add here is when Ashika is explicitly saying that the bad debt is not a reason for reducing liability and reduction by way of taxes, uh, get back to your customers where you have long debts. For sure, there could be some amount of the debtors who will say that, say, look, the price which I have asked versus what has come is different, or the quality of the goods that I have asked for and what quality has landed is different, or these goods have been returned lying back, I have not taken the possession. All these things can be addressed now, because again, the due date to issue a credit note is 31st October. So if you can do it now, make it good, make it good now. Even if some debtor is not paying, like very unlikely it is a bad debt, but some reason. But if you can make it as a valid credit note for the purpose of documentation, only then you can reduce your liability. That is where Ashika is cautioning you that you got to fulfill the conditions of section 34 and raise a credit note now, rather than waiting for 1 year, 2 years. And even though it is a genuine reason, either you cannot raise a credit note or bad debt cannot be a reason for reduction in the liability. Please proceed. And if you have any questions, keep you posting your questions in the chat. We will take up as when it comes.
Now, these are the few points which we have picked is multi-registration. You need to be very careful with your related party transaction. As I said, now ISD or cross-charge following is mandatory. Now you have to see what is your internally generated services and what is the services you are procuring from outside for the benefit of either more than one unit or for all the units. Just for example, if we take is software license fee, where software license fee may be taken by HO or main branch and it been used by in other branches where people are other branches are also doing book entry in that. Then in such a case, it will become a common service and ITC avail on that transaction need to be distributed by way of ISD. One is this, and one is your internally generated service, that is the common service which has been used for the benefits of all, for which you have to do cross charge. So you need to be careful for ISD and cross charge. Then stock transfer, and the third is the valuation aspect, which we have already discussed about Rule 28. And now you need to be careful with also personal guarantee and corporate guarantee, because that also in rule they have inserted how it need to be valued and tax need to be paid. Then comes your TDS and TCS. If it is applicable in your case, then see what is online it is appearing. What TDS and TCS is been there, check that and make sure to reconcile with your books what the income you have reported in GSTR 1 and accounted in the books. Another non-compliances which has been noticed is ITC 04, which is applicable to the manufacturer who are giving goods for the job work. Now ITC 04, most of the manufacturers are not following. It need to be important, it need to be followed. Reason being, because this help you in tracking of ITC part for the officer purpose. So when they see there is a move out of goods to job work and move in of goods to the manufacturer should happen within 6 months in case of your input and capital goods within 1 year. So you have to be careful about it. So if you haven't filed your ITC 04, make sure you file it off. For due dates are approaching, so you can file. And as of now, there is no restriction on the portal. So GST portal allow you to file ITC 04 also for the past period. No late fee has also been prescribed, but the moment they will come, it may be the case of general penalty, which is also 50K. They might impose it for per return. So if any one of you have not filed and still the officer has not brought their attention to this part, it's better go ahead and file it off to be in compliance under law. Then if any of you is engaged in export, you have to make sure if you are doing without payment of tax, LUT is there. It's very important, though it is a procedure compliances, but at first level of litigation, they are not allowing you the export benefit. They are straightforward only due to absence of LUT. They are issuing notices and they are demanding tax. Though in future course, when the tribunal is set up, when the high court decision come, but till that time, that litigation will keep on going and your that contingency will be there. So make sure you execute LUT. Even for 24-25, LUT has been open. Now you can go ahead and file your LUT. Export of service. Now in export of service, one of the important condition is you should receive in Forex in order to comply with export. So over there, you have to make sure if any export of service you have done, you receive the payment, plus that payment need to be received within 1 year. So if you don't receive within 1 year, then the officer has the power to collect the benefit he has given. If you have done without payment of tax, he can collect that tax and he can even hold your refund. Anyhow, we can't file refund because we have to show the FISC copy in order to claim it. Then supply to SEZ. Any supply to SEZ is there. Make sure you get the endorsement with the SEZ officers, because most of the cases of the past where there is no SEZ endorsement, even though initially at the GST when was launched, there was no such condition, but still they have disallowed the export benefit and they have created the demand for it. So you need to be careful. Any future SEZ supply which you are going to do, make sure you get the endorsement. You also get a declaration from them that you have made supply for a authorized operation. That also important, need to be compliant. If anybody is engaged in merchant export, you make sure you compliance with merchant export is the case where you can make a supply to an exporter at 0.1% and you are eligible for refund. But there are certain conditions. There is the condition that the person who is going to do an export, he need to mention that he has procured the goods from merchant exporters, and he has to also give a declaration to jurisdictional officer that these are the goods he has procured, and you should also keep the copy of the same. Then with this thing, now we are coming to the part of reconciliation. Now, what we discuss are the basic checks which you should do. And you should keep in mind if you are engaged in any of those supply. Then coming to reconciliation, as we all know, we normally are doing our reconciliation, though we are doing at the end of the financial year or after the financial year has been ended. But now it is advisable you start doing monthly basis of also. Reason being, as you would be aware that new forms they have given DRC 01B and 1C. 1B is for your outward issue. If there is a difference between 1 and 3B, automatic notice will come DRC 01B. and you have to reply within 7 days. If you don't do the reply, they will block your filing of returns. So now though every time you need to be on GST portal, keep checking what is happening, any notices has been issued, because the thing is that now they don't give by post, or there will be no call from them. It is all automated. So you need to be careful. You have to check within 15 days or at least 1 month, is there any notice lying or not? Because if any notice is lying, repercussion will be high. It's not only they will try to block your subsequent filing of return, they also try to block input tax credit availment, and they also initiate recovery notices. So you need to be careful. They all of a sudden they will send a letter to the bank for freezing of your account. So you need to be careful. If any notice is there, you take care of it. And to ensure that no such notice come, you have to make sure you have taken care of all this RICO. Normally, RICO should not be done only at the figure level. You should not match only that, okay, my this month sale is this much, my GSTR 1 and 3B is showing that sale, that quantum, it's okay. No, you should not limit your RICO to that. You should make sure you do in a multi-dimensional way. That if you are having a rate, different multiple rate, make sure you do rate wise, because maybe total it might be matching, but tax wise it may not be. Then come your supply wise also, whether it's a taxable supply, exempt, zero rated, that also need to be carefully done. If you are into zero rated or into an export, you need to be more careful, because if there is any discrepancy between 1 and 3B, then most probably they will hold your refund processing. So you need to be careful on that front. Then party wise is also important, B2B or B2C, because as GSTR 2B they have come. With GSTR 2B they have also come with the conditions where they may disallow you the ITC. Like some of the things which they have said is 3B non-filer, then who have taken new registration. This B2B and B2C will also determine your ITC capacity to avail. So you should be careful how much, if any party is registered, it should be reported at registered, unregistered, then unregistered. Also, as we know, counterparty is depending upon it for availment of ITC. So your correct reporting is important. Then if you are having multiple registration, you need to be careful that sales which relate to whichever registration, it has been reported in that registration only. Because wrong reporting, as we discuss about place of supply issue, will also result in denial of ITC to the counterparty. So need to be careful. Type of tax is also important. If you have paid a wrong tax at C and S, the option for you is to go for refund and pay the correct tax. So unnecessary, it's lead to blockage of working capitals. So all this reconciliation need to be done to make sure whatever has been reported, it has been reported in a correct manner. Making sure of your compliance will also result in your counterparty ITC availment properly. Then with this outward part, now what you should remember is, like we talk about reconciliation, book versus R1, R3B, plus you should know you can do amendment once only. So if you have done any mistake, you should be careful while amending. You can do once only. There is no process to do it again and again. So, but there may be a case that even after amendment, there may be something left. What need to be done will depend upon the circumstance of the case, how it can be approached. Credit note, like we discussed, you should stop now doing your, like, you should not raise your credit note as per your will. You have to follow as per the GST law. Advances, sale of assets, we have already discussed. With this part, we will now come to the input tax credit. When we comes to the input tax credit, the most common thing, the basic which we should know is we are eligible only when it is used for taxable or zero rated supply. Then only you are eligible to claim the ITC. if you are engaged or partly engaged in non-taxable or exempt supply, then you are not eligible for 100% ITC. So if there is a mixture of taxable and exempt, so you have to do the proportionate. Proportionately, you will be eligible for ITC. Plus, if you are having a multiple rate, then also you need to be careful because sometimes lower rates comes with no ITC. When it comes with no ITC, as per rate notification, we have been told to consider it as a exempt, which we have noticed most of the people are not following. Because what happened, like auditor's fee, security charges, office rent, these are all common expense. There may be a case of 5% without ITC, and there may be a case you might be having 18% also with ITC. 5% without ITC directly related, you will be like, I am not claiming, not a problem. So I will claim 100% ITC of other than what is directly related to 5%. That is not correct. Even the common input service, if there is a 5% without ITC, you have to consider it as an exempt and you have to do the reversal of the same. So you need to take care for the same. Then what you should check for your financial year 23-24. As we are all aware, from Zen 24, we have been asked to follow Zen 23, we have been asked to follow GSTR 2B. So credit is available, only the same is reflecting in GSTR 2B. Anyhow, reporting pattern of GSTR 3B has been changed, pursuant to which only those credit which is appearing in GSTR 2B are auto-populated in your GSTR 3B table 4 as per the relevant tables. So if any credit is there in your books, not in 2B, you have to follow up with your vendor. What happened, why they didn't file, or it may be also the case they may have filed wrongly. So you have to make sure they file properly so it is reflected in 2B and you claim. Now another part can be where it is there in 2B but you might not have claimed due to non-compliance of any condition, which if it is a temporary reversal, which we were parking at 4B2, if it is a permanent reversal, it is 4B1 and you are not eligible for it. When we park for 4B2, now you need to be careful for that also. As you are aware, electronic ECRS has come, electronic credit reclaim and reversal statement, pursuant to which opening balance most of you people would have given. And 20th Feb is the last day to do the amendments. If anyone have anything ITC missed out, they can do their RECO and make sure they do the amendment and correctly report their ECRS. Now this 4B2, what is being reported and what you are now going to reclaim is being tracked by the department. So you need to be careful if any of this ITC is there, which is there in 2B, you might have parked or you might not have shown also what to be done. Amendment option is there. So you can use that amendment option and accordingly you make sure your returns is complied. Then if any ITC is covered under block credit. If there is any ITC like insurance, health insurance, if there life insurance is there, you have to make sure you don't claim ITC on the same. You have to report it under 4B1. So you have to recheck. There may be a case by mistake you might have availed. Then you can now do the correction in this financial year. Cross charge and stock transfer already discussed.
Ashika, I would like
Yes.
to highlight about the 3B reversals. Some of you would have got notices, or I'll not say notice, an email from the SGST department asking you, saying that the historical credits starting from July 2017, something you have not reversed, please do now. Or you would have just got a phone call, so much number, put it in your 4B1 and reverse it. See, this is something which is an internal procedure which they want to make good. I would only urge people, do not act directly basis an email or a phone call from any of the officers. You better consult your GST, whomsoever your advisor is, consult them before taking any action of claiming all the old credit now and reversing. You all know in mid of 2002, be specific, August 22 onwards, there is a change happened in the reporting. Prior to that, ineligible credits were reported in 4D1. So having reported, you have already reversed those credits. You don't need to now take those credits in 4A5 and put them back in 4B1. This is something you have to be careful. And Ashika actually rightly said that the change that happened of credits mismatch not appearing, following up with the vendor, you also got to ensure that how you will bring these things in your books of accounts so that you have a better clarity on it. That's all I would like to add, Ashika. You can proceed.
At the ITC reversal fund, you have to be careful if there is any payment which you have not made to your creditor within 180 days, you have to reverse the ITC for the same. Another thing is 3B non-filer. Now your GSTR 2B, if you will download, you will notice they themselves are showing who are non-filers. So you need to be careful with that. If your supplier is non-filer, you are not eligible to claim the ITC. It may be a case you might have availed. They have given the option to do those correction by subsequent year September. So for this financial year 23-24, you have a time till 30th September 24. If any of the ITC you have availed where your supplier has not filed, you can reverse the ITC now. With this, they have also said when your supplier files the 3B, then you can reclaim the ITC. So you have to keep track of the same. Sale of asset and stock, we have already discussed at the outward. Rule 42 and 43 is for common input tax credit, which we discussed previously. If any goods you have been lost, destroyed or written off, then ITC to that goods lost, stolen also need to be reversed. With this, we come to now RCM. Reverse charge mechanism is the common place where most of the people are not properly complying. They are not checking properly the expenses on which they are liable to pay RCM. Sometimes some people pay even though RCM is not applicable. That is also harmful. Why? Reason being, when you are not liable to pay RCM, what is officers are doing is they are coming with the point that you are not eligible for input tax credit. Because if you will notice, input tax credit definition is what you are eligible to claim ITC of what you are liable to pay from the RCM point of view. Over here, you were not liable to pay. So they are not disputing the tax paid under RCM. They are disputing the ITC claim by you. So you need to be careful. You should not just close your eyes and like, okay, we are having confusion, let's pay the tax. Anyhow, ITC is eligible. That approach is also not correct. You have to be careful. You have to see which are the expenses on which you are liable to pay RCM. And this verification cannot be done only just where is with GST, leave it out, no problem. As my supplier has charged with GST, so okay, we'll verify only without GST. That approach is also incorrect. Because if your supplier has charged GST, which is covered under RCM, then also it's a problem. Because officers are not considering this also. They are like, even if your supplier has charged and paid, but as you are liable to pay tax. It doesn't matter, he has paid. It's okay, it will go for litigation at a higher level. It may come in your favor. But to be cautious and to make sure that your cost of litigation is not high, you have to be careful at this level. So you need to check all your expenses, whether it's with GST or without GST, keeping in mind what are the services and goods notified, and accordingly take the action. So you have to check your expenses. If any transaction is showing in 2B RCM, yes, that also need to be verified. Now, there may be a case, it might be shown by mistake, yes. There may be a case inadvertently reported into your wrong GSTN. You have to be careful. You have to make your supplier correct. You can't leave it. Because for officer, for RCM, they first refer to 2B only. If anything is there in 2B, you haven't paid. They will question why. And if there is incorrect reporting is coming in 2B, that also you make sure you correct it, get it corrected by your supplier. With the payment, ITC eligibility is not linked. You should keep this in mind. Whatever tax paid under RCM is not equivalent to ITC available. That is not the case. Like one of the classic example if we give is your renting of motor vehicle. Now renting of motor vehicle is covered under RCM, but when you come to the block credit, you will notice that ITC is ineligible. So you should never think tax paid under RCM is equal to ITC available. That is the wrong impression if you are having. So you have to check after making the payment also, you may not be eligible. So you have to check whether first RCM applicable or not. Then you have to also check whether you are eligible for ITC or not. If there are RCM transaction, you have to make sure your document also are in proper. You have to raise self-tax invoice. So whatever RCM liabilities are there, you can raise monthly one self-tax invoice incorporating all the expenses covered under RCM, giving the disclosure of value and tax paid. With self-tax invoice comes the payment voucher. Whatever expenses you have incurred, obviously there will be corresponding payment entries, so it become a payment voucher. So these two documents are prescribed for RCM under GST law. Now you will see one more tab I have given is Rule 80-20 for real estate. It's basically for real estate sector. They have to make sure they do the procurement of 80% of their input and input services from registered person. If they don't do, then the RCM comes into picture. Now in subsequent slide, we have covered the services which are covered under RCM, and next slide is for goods. Now if you will see notified services under RCM, we have highlighted few boxes. These boxes are the expenses which are most commonly are there in businesses. Like transportation, you will be noticing it will be there. But you need to be careful for transport. There was earlier an exemption of 750 and or 1500 rupees per consignment, which has now been removed. So even 10 rupees if you have incurred for transportation is liable under RCM. Then legal service, advocates. Now in advocate fee also you have to see each and everything of advocate is not taxable. When it is provided in the law, legal law, like there may be a case your advocate might be maintaining your books of accounts and he might be charging you accounting. So it doesn't mean for accounting also under RCM. You have to see because it's only legal service which is covered, not accounting service. So you have to see which will fall under this RCM. Sponsorship service. Then another is your government services, where most of the people more or less either missed or comes under wrong impression that it is a government service, therefore no GST. Need to be careful. There may be a case somehow or other how you are incurring some expenses relating to government, you have to pay tax. Director service. Now for director service, two clarification they have issued. One is if it is 194J, then you are liable to pay under RCM. But if it is in the nature of salary 192B, then no GST. Another clarification which they have come, which is very good, is it is under RCM only when it is provided in the capacity of the director. If it is provided other than in the capacity of director, then RCM will not be applicable. Why they have come with this clarification is most common was coming is renting of immovable property, where the director was providing a renting of immovable property and businesses were forced, companies were forced to pay under RCM as director service. So they clarify this is not in the nature of director service. This is in the nature of property owner. So that will not be under RCM as director service. Now, but if you will notice at the end, there is renting of residential dwelling. This is different. Over there, director service, when I said renting of commercial property to company. But if it is a renting of residential dwelling for two businesses, to registered person, then RCM is applicable. This is newly inserted last year, July 22. So if any of you is having incurring or accounting any expense in the nature of renting of immovable property, and it's related to residential dwelling which has been used, not it is not dependent upon use, whether the residential dwelling is used for residence purpose or commercial purpose, it doesn't matter. If it is let out to a registered person, then RCM is applicable. So you need to be careful if any expense is there. Then renting of motor vehicle, cab charges, which we commonly notice, and security services. So this all expenses, if they are, make sure if fall under RCM, you have paid the taxes. Then this is RCM on goods. This you can refer yourself only. Then coming to the part of closing entry. As we came to know what are the things we need to check in order to make sure that there is no error, or if error has occurred, you have taken care. With this also comes an important part is to make sure closing your books of entry. Whenever any liability is payable, whenever we do any sale, we are creating our liability over there. So it's better. If you will notice in GST portal, there are 3 ledger: electronic liability ledger, credit ledger, cash ledger. Similarly, it is advisable that you also maintain these 3 ledgers in your books of account. So when you are doing your sale, you are creating your output part, transfer those entry to your liability ledger to show this much of is tax payable for that month. Then comes your ITC, input tax credit. As you will notice, we were talking about ITC, which is only in books, which may be only in portal, but you haven't availed. So it's important for input tax credit also, you create one electronic credit entries also, where your books will be obviously whatever transaction has incurred, where you have suffered GST, you are accounting, and then passing those entry based on eligibility, claim, and parking or reversal. So you should pass those entry to keep a track. It will be good for you also, and which will also serve as a purpose at the time of statutory audit, which will show that this all entries are matching, which entry you have parked, which ITC to be claimed afterward. So all this tracking can be done if books closure is done properly. Then if obviously after adjusting with credit, if you have any cash payment, you will do the payment, and you can create electronic cash ledger also. And then is the last set off, where we set off what is my liability, what I have ITC, what I paid through cash. So this is the gist of what we discussed. GST book ledger offset entry, do the proper entry, proper reco, and ledger parking. You should be careful with your ledger parking, because it will serve as your check how much ITC is left to be claimed, how much you are saying to be claimed as refund also is been parked, which will also work as a track how much amount of refund is still pending to be get. Then with 23-24 health check, we're now coming to 24-25. What are the things you need to do with the beginning of 24-25 or prior to that in March month is, if your turnover is above 5 crore, make sure you get the e-invoice compliances. Many of you might have got emails from the department where they have said that your turnover for the preceding financial year exceed the limit, therefore you are liable to follow e-invoice. So make sure you do the e-invoice compliances. Then LUT we have already discussed. Earlier for GTA persons who were into GTA, they were required to give declaration that whether they are going to follow forward charge or reverse charge. Now this declaration has been done away. They don't need to give this declaration. They have to give this declaration one time. So if you have already given the declaration, you are following FCM or RCM, then it's okay, and you want to continue, that's okay. If you want to change, then you have to give the declaration. Then if any of you want to opt for QRMP, then you have to give your opt for those by 30th April. ITC 04, which we discussed. GSTR 4, composite dealers who are there, they have to file GSTR 4. Aadhaar authentication is one of the important thing. You have to make sure you get your Aadhaar authenticated. Check your GST registration. Most of the people don't update their registration certificates. Any change in address, any change in directors, service or goods categories, they are not updating, which will create problem. So it's better check your RC copy, check if any amendment required and do that. And as I said already, that for any mistake you have done in your outward or IETC, you have a time till 30th November to correct it. But it is advisable to do those corrections within the financial year because it will help you to avoid litigation. Reason being, no officer wants to increase their work by going to another subsequent year to check what you are saying is correct or not. So with this to you.
Ashika?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you want me to continue from here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So there were some questions, and especially on the RCM, I think Ashika had made it clear on what are all the things that you need to take care. And one thing is in terms of ineligible RCM, wherever the RCM you have paid, if it fits under 17 subsection 5, even that is ineligible. So you have to make the payment whether or not it is ineligible or eligible. This is on GSTR 1 reporting. We will take it quick so that we end up by 4:15, and I want to spend more time on the tech today. Since we have already taken this session, there is the recording of this available. I want members to pay special attention to values that are going into GSTR 1. Two things. Point number one, e-invoice is already there. There are situations I'm noticing that e-invoice is generated, later edits happened in the books. E-invoice generated, later cancelled in the books. Accounting done, e-invoice not generated. While filing GSTR 1, please take care of this reconciliation and then only do the filing of GSTR 1. That's the first point I am saying. Second, historical changes that have happened, you have to do the correction. Travel back to the first slide of Ashika, where she said do a turnover reconciliation, other income, direct income, everything. Prepare a P&L computation equivalent to table 5 of GSTR 9C. Consider your financial year is only up until April to February, or I'll say April to January, so that you can take only delta. So while filing your February returns, April to January, all the data that you have filed versus what is there in the books, take a look at it and make the correction of it. Coming to the reporting changes that have happened, there are two new tables that got added. Next slide. The new two tables got added, and especially on the e-commerce operator side. So wherever the turnover which relating to e-commerce operator, earlier we were separately reporting under 4, and in 7 we are intimating this so much of the e-commerce operator. So all these have been dropped. 4, 5, and 7 they have dropped it and moved to a new table called table 14. And even in 9 there was a curation of small correction on the in terms of the document name. Instead of invoice name, they change it to the document. It is a very nice change. So let's look at the change that have happened in table 14 and 15. These are the two new changes that have come. Table 14 is supplies that you have made through e-commerce operator. So this is only for the suppliers. Table 14 is only for the suppliers. Table 15 is only for the e-commerce operator. So I am a restaurant. I am making supply through Swiggy and Zomato. I will be reporting such supplies in table 14. Swiggy and Zomato would be reporting the turnover in table 15. So both are two little different things. I am making sales through Amazon and Flipkart, where Amazon and Flipkart is doing a TCS on it, 1% TCS, 1% both CGST and GST put together, right? So there, even that is a supplies made through e-commerce operator, I'll be reporting in 14. In 15, this value of the supply e-commerce operator will not report, because only where e-commerce operator is liable to pay tax will be reporting. So we also had given an advisory in detail, which will be sharing it to you. So in between, I saw some of you have asked for the presentation. You will get the presentation on the registered email ID along with the advisory. So let's look at both the changes, both the tables. In table 14, you have two subtables, 14A and 14B. In 14A, you will be reporting as if you are the supplier who are liable to pay tax. So which means you have already reported this elsewhere. Table 4, table 5, table 7. In 14B, you are not liable to pay the taxes e-commerce operator. Like you might be Ola Uber driver, or you have a hotel unregistered. Okay, you wouldn't applicable. But look at the Urban Clap and others where you are providing services through them. These kind of supplies where the e-com is making the payment of taxes, that would be reported under 14B, right? If you have made any corrections to those 14 A or B, those corrections are reported in amendments to 14, which is 14A. Likewise, in 15, it is only an supplies on which e-commerce operator is liable to pay the taxes. This value is auto-populated to table 3B. In 3B, this value is going. Let's get into details of table 14. In table 14, when you log into the portal, you will see two: liable to collect TCS by e-commerce operator, liable to pay tax by e-commerce operator. You are doing. So which means you have already reported this turnover elsewhere in any of the tables between 4 to 10. This turnover has already been reported. Do not think if you are reporting turnover here, it will add as additional liability. Answer is no. Do not think if I am reporting a value here, it will add to 3B. Answer is no. The taxable values and the tax liabilities will not be auto-populated to 3B from this table. All right. So the 9.5 related, only turnover will be auto-populated, which is 3112, and information which you have already reported as an exempted turnover. Even in 311, there is only reporting of turnover and no tax. So reporting of table 14, I will say an additional reporting in GSTR 1, just to say that so much of the transaction is through e-commerce operator, because this value is already reported. What is that I have to report here? Against each of the e-commerce operator wise, a consolidated turnover. In fact, in Excel, we have new feature group by, pivot by. You can use those things. A consolidated turnover of each e-com operator. All right. This is what you have to report. Moving to table 15. In table 15, the reporting is only where e-commerce operator is liable to pay the taxes. Table 14 and table 15 is not applicable to Flipkart and Amazon, even though they are an e-commerce operator. In Flipkart and Amazon case, Flipkart and Amazon are doing only TCS. They are not liable to pay taxes. 9.5 is applicable only when they are liable to pay taxes. Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, Make My Trip, where these e-com operators under 9.5, when they are liable to make the payment, they will be reporting. Here the reporting is classified into 4 sections, which you see: buyer registered, supplier registered. buyer registered, supplier not registered. So you have all those combination. Wherever the recipient is registered, you will do invoice wise reporting. Wherever the recipient is not registered, you will do a consolidated reporting, place of supply wise, rate wise. Why an invoice wise reporting if the registered recipient is registered? Because the registered input recipient will get an input tax credit even though the payment is done by the e-com operator. All right. So let's move. In GSTR 2B, this has been shown up separately. So when you download your 2B, you will be seeing the e-com operator also separately. All right. There's a special procedure for supply through e-commerce operator. We can just skip this. These are the due dates for filing. We can just skip this. Yeah. This is owing to the thing. Any questions to anyone? Bemul is asking wrong TDS credit given to my GSTN. How do I reverse? Who has to do the reversal? So this is about the GSTR 7 where the government is filing the return. Bemul, when a government has filed a return and given a credit to someone else instead of you, such person should not accept the credit. If they have not accepted the credit, government can reverse their GSTR 7, change the TDS and give it to you. If that recipient has accepted the credit, nothing can be done. So government has to recover that and transfer again freshly to you. That's all. Any other questions? All right. Today, the tech part is going to be little lengthier and we will be looking at various aspects of the tech. I request all of you stay connected, put your questions because we are walking you through various aspects. There are three main things in the tech part we are going to look at it. Point number one, automating a reporting of certain transactions to your vendor suppliers through an application. Here we have taken whenever you make the payments, the payment advice is automated to your suppliers. That's the first app we were going to show you. App number two, extracting the data from various tables and putting it into an Excel in an easy way is the second thing we will see. Third, using a let function. How do you create your own small variables and create a function? And those of you who have not subscribed to our WhatsApp channel, you can subscribe. We would be sharing you GST updates on a daily basis. And you will also get more articles that we write. You will get a copy of that. Okay. Let's see if the questions are there before I hand it over to Delhi Babu. Babu, in the meantime, I would request you share your screen and set it up. There's one question from Pradeep. E-commerce turnover not reported earlier can be reported now. Yes, Pradeep, table 14, you can include the January report also. RCM paid on inward supplies received from unregistered person. How to explain this in GSTR 2B reconciliation? Okay, Mr. NT, RCM paid on inward supplies received from unregistered person, it will never be there in 2B. So how you will be explaining is in 3.1D of GSTR 3B, you are paying the taxes. Let's say import of services. You will taking credit in your 4A2. Your 4A2 plus 4A3 should match with the value that you are paying taxes in 3.1D. That's something you have to take control of. All right. Okay, I think we have taken all the questions. If you have any question, maybe you can unmute yourself and ask. Is RCM applicable for unloading charges and freight charges, Saptagiri? Unloading and freight charges, if it is part of a composite supply for a GTA service, it is applicable. If it is an independent supply, it is not applicable. Narahari is asking, please review the update on section 16.4 steps to be taken for notice against this section. I would take this question offline, Narahari, because that's a little tricky and technical. All of the, as of now, I would only say new 3B has come. Just avail the credit and reverse it if you don't belongs to you. But if you are violating 16 subsection 4, the credit is kind of lost. Parth is asking, we have claimed a TDS credit for the month of Jan 24, and after 2 months in March, one entity has filed GSTR 7 backdated. Yeah, you can keep claiming your GSTR 1 sorry, not GSTR 1, GSTR 7 credit multiple times. You can claim it. That is not an issue. So even if someone is uploading Jan after you accepted, it would be available for you to accept at a later point. You can do that. One more question. Please explain the process of ITC 04. My client is sarees manufacturer giving sarees for dyeing, polishing. Whether I need to file ITC 04? Yes. ITC 04 is a job work return. Section 19 of the ITC provisions permit you to transfer the goods from one location to other location without treating them as a supply. The condition is the goods should be coming back to you within 1 year. So the document to establish that the goods have gone and it has come back within 1 year is ITC 01. So I request everyone to start filing ITC 04. This would help you to take control of the goods which is there with you and with the job worker. This is to be filed half yearly if your turnover is less than more than 5 crores, and annually if the turnover is less than 5 crores.
Sir, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, Stephen, can you just make Babu as a co-host, please?
Yes, sir. Made, sir.
Yeah. All right. I think we have taken up all the questions. We will move to the next part of it, which is the tech side of it. So these are the 3 things that we are going to see, which is automation of either payment or receipt to your customers or suppliers. Second, on the extracting and reporting using an SQL query. Third, using a let function. Yes, Babu,
Yes.
over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving opportunity to present here this technical session. Yes, Venu sir said, yeah. Anyhow, it's a beautiful session. Now we are seeing many issues from GST side. All our important points only covered here. It's really helpful, sir. That all GST related plus topic 1. Okay, coming to technical session, here we divided 3 topics in technical session. Number 1, tally from tally and automation of payment advices. Number 2, Power Query with tally with 3 command modules. One is ODBC, another one is merge, another one is amend. Another third point, let function in Excel. It's a very powerful and advanced function. If you know how to use this one, you can automate your most of the regular activities and also graphical presentations and reports. This is very powerful comparatively existing. Maybe you can use your simple functions also, but there is a performance issue. But let will override many functions. That is very useful function. Okay, now I'll show you how payment advice can automate from tally. Okay, here the intention I'll tell you. Number 1, if we have every day number of means 100, 200,000 payments from tally, if you want to send payment advices from tally to your vendors, maybe there are many criteria and challenges and also limitations in tally. If you want to send, for example, 100 payment advices from tally, one person is required. By end of the day or next day, morning, if you sit one person, at least is selecting one. There is an inbuilt feature also you can select, and you will have to do some configuration. Then you will have to send email to the particular vendor. That is the regular process and standard model in Tally. But what we did here is we just created a small Visual Studio, one small exe that will override all the manpower and other timings. Automatically that will trigger based on our time schedule to all the vendors. Max to max per transaction, it will take 5 to 10 seconds, because but the 5 to 10 seconds also it's a local system, and also the Tally has some limitation. Tally will give response in maybe 5 to 10 seconds. To manipulate that and sending, it will take another 5 to 10 seconds. It is maximum 10 to 15 seconds. You can send payment advices to your vendors. That is how we build. Within this, there are many criteria and conditions and controls. I'll show you one by one. First, I'll show you standard module, how it will be, how this will work, and configurations. I created here one sample data. I'll show you. There is one payment. Maybe you almost shall, as I assume, all are from commerce background. Maybe if you are not commerce background, also maybe if you are management level, also maybe you can advise to your that reporting persons or respective persons how we can use this tool and how you can automate. This is just for your example. Similar way you can automate many things. Just you will have to think how to do and how to automate, and accurate, and how you can send without delay, or some maybe you can control your business also using some automations. Here in daybook, see display and more and daybook. Here I just created very simple 2 transactions. I'll show you. This is one just payment voucher. I'm not creating data entry. I'm showing opening and showing here from SBI Bank. I'm just paying for Infosys India Private Limited just some amount 5678 rupees with deducting with 78 rupees here. This is my vendor email ID. If you want to see this vendor email ID also, here I'll tell you some limitations and controls also one by one. See, each and every vendor and customer, you can record this all the contact details. Here I just given email ID and CC email ID. Each and every one vendor wise we can record email IDs. For this email ID, we are sending payment advices from Tally. The same thing just for user reference purpose. If it is sometimes user will type a wrong email ID. Whenever they are creating payment, at least they can see that mail ID if it is right or wrong. Something instead of mail ID, they will write their company website also. There are many errors when they are typing in email ID. Just for user double confirmation purpose, we are giving in voucher level also.
So basically, the same data would come to voucher, and you can overwrite in the voucher level. You can add additional email ID also is possible.
Yes. This is just text field. Here, you can, if you want to type something else, you can type. See, after creating this invoice, the manual process, you can take printout. Here there is an option in F12, print payment advice. Here there are many options. If you want to include bill details and contact details, all those things you can enable. Then if you press, if you save, then you can see that payment advice from Tally. This you can export to PDF, JPG. There are 4 or 5 formats you can export, and you can send it to your individual mail ID, or you can send it from here also. This is inbuilt feature. Okay, up to here, any doubts? Just creating payment voucher, then setting email ID, then taking printout. This is very common regular process. Okay. See, for each and every voucher, you will have to go this way and you will have to send payment advice. Otherwise, we can't send other bulk way. Okay, this is one thing. I'll show you my exe how it will work. Before that one, there is one small configurations. We given one exe file. I'll show you that one also. Just you can install in your system. This is the exe file. If you run, it will install in your system. This is just 1 minute job only. If you click this one, you will get this configuration file. It will come and save into your C drive. This is only one-time setup you will have to do for payment advice automation. So just I'm opening and show you what are all information here. I'm just giving from here to automate something, and also for controlling purpose. See, number one, in email, subject, you can mention from here, whatever you mention here, it will come into email subject. Second thing, body of the mail, you can write whatever you want here. This will come into your body of the mail when it is going automatically from tally to your vendor. This body of the mail. Then company, current company. Suppose if you have 10 companies in your company, if you want to send only specific the main corporate company, the payment advice, you will have to define that company name. Okay, I'll tell you, maybe you can ask one more question. If I want to send multiple companies payment advices, I'll come to that later. Then this is company period. From this period to this period, within this period, I want to send payment advices. Again, here you can ask question, why I want to send every day this much period advices. No, just to identify this period only we are adding here. That also I'll come to that. It will, there is an option. Okay, I'll go one by one, then I'll come to this point later. Then file path. File path means when it is sending email, it will export PDF and it will save into this particular folder in your system. Then that will attach it in email. Then CC. This also I will come into later. Then username and password. This is your from email ID. From this email ID, it will send emails. Then error email ID. Suppose when it is sending, if you want to send, maybe in the day there are 100 payment advice, within payment 100 advices, there are 4 or 5 vendors email IDs are wrong or invalid email IDs. That time it for that particular regards, the system will trigger email notification to your in-house someone who is monitoring this payment advice. They will receive email notification that all with voucher name, voucher number, all those details, it will come into your body of the mail. They can monitor out of 100 for the day, 5 invoices are not triggered due to email invalid. Based on this, they will get email notification to this email. They will get notification. Then one more interesting thing. Suppose you can schedule this one every day. Maybe by 8 o'clock morning or evening 8 o'clock, you can schedule this tool that will trigger automatically. At the time of triggering this invoice, sorry, payment advices, if the tally is closed, it won't get, because EX is an external application. Tally is a different other application. Both are different, like Excel and Tally. That time the application will check, that exe will check the tallies are opened or not. Tally application is opened or not. If it is not opened, the tally automatically that exe will open tally, and that will open with username and password. Then that will activate company, that current company, this company, whatever we give here, that current company, it will open this particular company, and it will update username, password, it will open. Then it will start fetching that payment advices, and that will send to vendors. Until here, if you have any doubts, you just let me know. There is one more important point, I'm sorry. Okay, here I given one more option, mission date. Suppose some clients, if they want to send based on this tally date, suppose sometimes if you want to switch to based on current date. Current date means this is the current date. Today we are in 24th Saturday. Suppose due to some issue or power issue, some other exception issue, the system is not switched on. If it is switched on, at least if tally is not open, that will check, that will open and trigger that payment advice. Suppose completely system is off. That time if you come on Monday, if you want to trigger for Saturday, then you can use this feature. You can change this to Saturday date here in current date. Then the system will fetch that based on this date, day book, payment vouchers, and it will trigger to vendors. That's why we given this option. And one more interesting option, maybe many customers are using Tally server. Tally server is different than a regular Tally for accessing companies. Maybe there is a little bit more security control system. If you are using Tally server, you can set up here as a yes. Then it will automatically activate your target company. Like this is your target company from a Tally server. That will automatically activate the target company. If you are using Tally server, you have to configure this one. Until here in this configuration, any doubts, please let me know, I'll clarify. Then I'll execute and show you how that will work one by one.
We can proceed, Babu. I don't
Yeah.
think doubts. It's very clear.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Once you configure this one, your job is done. It's a one-time activity. Okay, I'll start with closed company. Yeah, here I'm just manually running this exe. Otherwise, you can set up. Okay, I'll show you that also. There is a Windows default feature task scheduler. You can create here your task and you can set a date and time. And daily, weekly, monthly, daily, twice, thrice, you can set up that one. Based on that, that exe will execute. Here you can load your exe. Just I'm showing very fast. If you want to show a little slow, I'll show you. Here you can just load your exe. Then automatically based on task scheduler, that exe will run. That automatically that automation will run. Okay. Here now I'm just manually running this. This is the exe. Just if you press this one, the first thing it will check tally is exist or not. If it is not exist, it will open tally. See now how it is working. Now it is will go and select that target company. It will go to specify path. See, it is slowly it is moving. It will go to specify path until it will paste company path. Maybe as you know, 140011501 your the target company code that will paste here. Then it will enter username and passwords. See, now it's opened. Then it is fetching that list of transactions and it is sending mails to targeted person. I'll show you from here. See, just now I received 2 emails. It is coming with company name and payment advice and supplier name also. This body of the matter, whatever we feed in that configuration sheet, then your payment advice. See, another second record. For this, there is some TDS. It's just UDF is an additional one. It's not a default feature in Tally. It's a customized one. It is coming with TDS value with complete payment advice. This is how it will send. If Tally is not exist, it will open and it will check current date transaction. It will send. Now I will show you for previous date. For example, if you see here payment vouchers. Yeah, there are some vouchers in 17th. Sorry, sir.
Babu, in this voucher, one of the voucher make the invalid email ID also.
Oh, super. Okay, sir.
Or maybe on 17th voucher, you can just create a payment on for 17th when you're running. So we can show how the invalid would also work.
Sure. Okay, one more thing here, it won't, okay, 2 filtrations are there. Within the day, there will be some cash payments and also there is a bank payments also. Within the bank payments, some vendors are maybe local vendors. You didn't fill any email IDs that it won't consider for payment advice. And also for cash payments, it will only consider bank payments, whatever vendors are having email IDs. See, this is also cash payment. This is bank payment. Okay. See, instead of email ID, I'm adding CC also. I'm just entering wrong one. Now for backdated, there are some transactions in 17th. I'm just setting up for 17th, 24. Now Here we need to change. Currently it is in current date only. No issue. Now tally previously executed EXE is open tally. Now already there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 watches are there. One voucher is having some error. It is sent. Okay, I'll show you that one also. If system is on, everything will take care of this. It will take everything. It will handle errors. It will handle if tally is not opened. It will handle emailings and also performance. See, it's executed. I'll show you from here. See, there is one mail, invalid or missing email. This is how it will send to that accountant. The accountant can validate once again, maybe voucher number 2. Yeah.
It's a technical glitch. We'll just be back in a minute. Okay. Till Babu comes up, here are certain things which I would like to mention everyone is the RPS of this kind are very, very important these days. Every day you go to the office, the first thing you do is you look at email. Or you will say that, okay, I want to look at only the mails that are addressed to me. Or you want to do automatic reply of some things. Whatever the things you do on a daily basis, if you can actually list them and list them so that you can take care of it automatically, It saves a lot of time. This is something definitely everyone have to start looking at on a day-to-day basis. I will not say these are AI tools. So every day you have to look at where is your time getting spent on. Wherever is your time that is getting spent on, you should start looking at automating these things. 1 minute, Babu is calling. Babu, you have to join back. No problem. Come. Yeah. So Babu's internet went down. He's just restarting his system. He should be back in a moment. So these RPA tools are necessary to automate things. Now let me come to GST. In GST, what is that you are doing? You want to see the list of GST number of your clients if you are a chartered accountant in practice, or list of group companies or the proprietor, everything if you are in a corporate. You want to check whether returns filed on time or not. You want to check against each of the GST number if there is a notice that have been served or not. So you can do a simple RPA script which will crawl through all the GST logins, see if there is a new notice that have come. It can download into a PDF and give it to you. These are a simple Excel and a browser controlled automations. See, on a commercial scale, these are not a right to think, right? But you are doing
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm really sorry. I'm Jan back. Can you allow me to share my screen, please? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. I made you co-host. You can share now.
Thank you. Yes, you're able to see, right, my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I was showing this feature, right? When it is invalid email is found. Okay, if invalid email is found, you will get that accountant will get this kind of email ID. They can go and check and update proper email ID. Then again you can resend payment advices. Okay. Until here, any doubts? This exe, one more time I'll explain you. Number one, this exe will send bulk payment advices from Tally automatically. Number two, it will check when it is executing through Windows Task Scheduler if Tally is exist or not. If it is not exist, it will open with username and passwords. Then it will fetch the current date, transactions, and it will send to respective vendors. When it is sending, it will check email ID valid or not. If it is valid, it will send to respective vendor. If it is not invalid, then it will send that information to accountant to review that one. One more thing, if the current date transactions automatically it will send. Suppose manually if they want to execute, they can execute clicking that exe for backdated transactions. This is another one more feature. One more thing, there are if the user using Tally server, when it is automatically opening, there is one more configuration you will have to enable. Then automatically it will fetch Tally data from that server and it will activate automatically. Okay, the major thing, the only one-time setup configurations you will have to set up from this file, and you can configure all the things. Okay, I told you, right? I'll tell you later this CC email ID. Suppose when you are triggering emails to vendors, you want to put your email ID also in CC. You want to monitor or someone want to monitor. You can add your email ID here. Automatically, you also will receive one copy to your mail ID. Okay, this is what the EXE will do from system automatically. Yeah. In this feature, if you have any doubts or clarification or ideas, please let me know. I'll give you 1 minute time, please. Yes, okay, there is charts. Can we add an email ID of more than 2? Yes, we can add. Okay, one more thing. If you want to add more email IDs, there is a limitation in Tally, but you can override that email ID using copy paste. I'll show you here. Actually, this is very good question. Many times, many persons wanted to send email to multiple email IDs. For example, here, if you want to send, if you want to add multiple email IDs, I'm just showing the example. This is my first mail ID. Then add semicolon. Then libabu.in2. This is second email. Just an example and this way you can add multiple email IDs in your notepad. If you want to add more than 5, 6, I think 60 characters system will allow. You can type in front end. More than 60, if you want to add any email IDs, suppose in CC also or 2 also, if you want anything, you just copy this way and paste in Tally. It will allow to paste. But if you want to type in front end, it will allow up to 60 character. More than 60, it won't allow. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then if you work multiple companies, then XML. Okay. First we need to edit and run. Okay, very good question. Actually, we are also working on it. Automatically, you should switch to second company, third company, fourth company. Right now, it is a hard-coded one. If you want to send from another company, you will have to configure. For automatically to current EXE which I shown here, it will send only for one company. If you put complete automation, only for one company, it will trigger. If you want to send another company, you will have to trigger manually. Just you will have to go to a configuration file. There you need to update company name, Tally company name. Then if you execute that exe, it will trigger a bulk payment advices. Maybe in next version, we are including that one also. Automatically, if you add 10 companies, it will take one by one, and it will send for all the companies. Then data is on server, and we work on the network system. Whether this XML 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, very good question. Here you don't want to use multiple system for this automation. If you are using server system, maybe IBM server, some other or Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, there are many next gen, many servers or your in-house servers. Main that admin login will come there, or you can create any additional login also for this automation purpose. There you can install this file. Just copy paste only. You don't want to install also. That is one zip file. You just extract here and run it. That will create one configuration file. There you need to fill that primary information, then save it. Then you schedule in task scheduler. Then automatically it will trigger. You don't need to run in multiple systems. If manually, if you want to run, again that configuration file you will have to paste in all C drives wherever you are running. For example, computer 1, computer 2, computer 3. Other than server system in local in LAN, if you want to trigger from there also, you'll have to copy that exe file into your local system. You paste in some local drive, any D drive or G drive. And the mandatory thing, the configuration file should be available in your local system only. You copy that configuration file into C drive. You just run it. It will automatically send. Okay, can this tool be used for Tally ERP as well? Yes, it will work for all the versions. It will work for Tally ERP 9, 6.1, 6.2, 6.6, and Tally Prime 2, 3, 4. All versions it will work. It will work for all versions. Yes, I hope your answers are clear. Okay. Can I move to next subject, Power Query with Tally? Okay, good. I'll move to next topic. Okay, I'll use same Tally only. Just will open Excel file. Power Query is your inbuilt feature only in your Excel if you are using latest Excels. Otherwise, if you are using older versions 2007, 10, 13, you will have to buy. Just that is free add-in only. You can download from Windows and install it. Then you will get this kind of one additional menu. There you can get all the advanced features like Power Query features. Okay. Now Power Query. Power Query is very powerful engine in Excel. Maybe if you are using Power BI also, there also you will get Power Query editor, Power Query modules, all the features. Now they included in Excel also. Using that one, we can get multiple sources data, multiple servers data. Now here I'm just taking Tally data to show you how we can fetch from Tally and how we can manipulate based on our requirements using Power Query. Yes, just simple way I'll show you how Power Query editor can from here maybe in data tab this group get and external data, maybe based on your versions you will get data some options, you check it. Otherwise you can directly go to above there will be search option, you can search query blank query, there you will get blank query. Blank query means it will open Power Query editor. You can write your functions, your script here, like this M code. If you know M code, you can write and get data and you can manipulate data. Otherwise, for our purposes, for simple things, I'll show you multiple ways to get data here from here. Okay, simple thing here, Tally is there. From Tally, I want to extract ledgers and groups. Simple step, first I'll show you how to extract ledgers and groups. Okay. First, I'll extract groups from Tally. There is one option from Home Editor. This also, there is multiple options. You can directly connect. There is a direct connection option also. Otherwise, if you know script, you can write from here also. Just I'm writing one small script. This is like one function. Yes, this is also very important. Whenever you're writing any queries, you will have to give proper names. Then only you can identify, and then also you can use that table values for another table, maybe for consultation and some supporting purpose. So this is the function to get ODBC values, ODBC.query. Why I'm showing here, it's very important. If you know this function name, you can easily extract data. Otherwise, there is one direct option also. From there also, you can write your queries and extract data. See, within this query, maybe like if you see in some formula, if you open some formula in Excel, it will show some arguments, some equal to some open bracket there, 1, 2, 3, 4, some arguments will show. Here also ODBs.query is a function like sum. Within that, there is two arguments. Arguments means two variables. Maybe if you are technical person, it's a variable, two variables. We have to give two variables. Based on that, system will understand, system will get the data. Here, DSN means data source name. Tally, maybe here also very important, case sensitive, that also you should know. This is port name. I'll explain you later also once again. This is first argument. Tally data source name, Tally 60-bit. Then the port name is 90. I'll show you where you can see these are all the information also. Okay. Here we can write our query. This is a select query name. Parent. Okay, this is going from groups. You double check your query is right or wrong. Okay, if there is a small wrong letter also, it won't give any values. I'll double check, I'll debug my code myself. ODBC.query.
Babu, what you can do also, you can just show the select thing in the calculator panel of the Tally also once.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
So that they know how this is coming.
Yes. Yeah, Tally also is providing one small SQL statement from Tally. You can write that SQL statement in calculator. Suppose if you want to extract groups, ledgers, or some report masters, some values are there. Maybe if you go to Tally help also, they are already provided what all information you can extract from calculator. Or if you know bit better than suppose if you know bit scripting knowledge, you can write some script from here also. You can extract data. Okay. Anyhow, I'll show you here. Okay, here groups is one table from Tally. See, if I enter it, it will show the values here in Tally itself. Here also you can export. The difference between why you want to export from Excel, you can analyze however you want. Here is just a standard method. You can see this information, you can export to Excel. But if you connect through ODBC, it is a dynamic connection. Whenever you refresh, there is an increment values or correction values, it will update automatically. See here, this is the function odbc.query. The first argument, data source name, Tally 60-bit, port 9000. Then this is query. Okay, not 64-bit. Okay, port is 9000. I'll show you port also from here. This is also very important thing. See, Tally is giving option to enable ODBC. If it is not enabled from here also, you can't get from third-party applications any data. See, this is the port. You can change your port also. By default, Tally will provide 9000. The same thing I'm adding here. Okay, then just will click on it. It is asking permissions. Okay, this is how you can extract data from Tally to Power Query. Okay, this is groups. Here also you can see this groups data. Now similar way we'll extract one more thing. We'll create one more query for ledgers. Here instead of groups you can change it to ledgers. Yes, you can download your sales and purchases if you have large volume of data in Tally also. Suppose in front end, if you are not able to open also the Tally, many of the clients we've seen, maybe they are using 9 lakhs, 10 lakhs records in Tally. They're creating in Tally. That time, if you want to export sales registration for 1 year, it won't allow to export it. It will allow to export, but updating maybe 20,000, 30,000 rows. After that, it will show member violation access. It will close Tally. You can't extract. If you split month-wise also, maybe if you see 50,000, 60,000 records in month-wise, you can't export. Tally has some limitation. Otherwise, if your system is more RAM and other engine is strong, then it will allow to export up to some level. But through ODBC, you can extract records. Otherwise, through port, there is one more option, SOAP request. Through that also, you can extract quickly. Suppose if you have 5 lakhs records, purchase records with item wise, 5 lakhs also max to max within 2 minutes, you can extract from Power Query to Excel. We did that for many clients. So this is one more table, ledger table. See, from Tally automatically is connected. Okay, if you want to see in Excel also, I'll enable to Excel here. I'll show you today okay, there are different methods to extract data. I'll show you for day book extract, purchase register extract. See, just now here I wanted to show you merge how it will work, append how it will work. After that, I'll show you how to extract bulk data from Tally also using Power Query. See, we just connected with Tally for ledger masters and groups. Now, if you want to add groups to ledgers, how to add in Power Query? This is very simple method to understand users. I'm telling. Otherwise, we can take multiple or many scenarios and I can show you. But this is very simple. Maybe everyone can understand. That's why I'm showing here. See here, I have a ledger name and also parent name, but I don't have grandparent. For example, if you see generally for sundry creditors, it's a liability. That group, if you see in Tally, groups. Sundry creditors. For sundry creditors, the parent group is current liabilities, but here we can't get that one directly. For suppose if you have multiple levels, you can't get that multiple levels, but Tally also is allowing parent and primary group. Until primary group, you can extract it. After that, if you want liability asset, there are some scenarios you can write script and you can extract. You can see that is it liability, is it asset or revenue, that is also possible. But here I'm showing very simple method to understand these modules, how this will help for our regular activities for automation purpose. This means merge query. See, merge query is equal to VLOOKUP. Here I'll show you here how it will work. Okay, here also it is showing two options. I'll show you. If you go to merge query, it is showing merge query and merge query as new. Merge query means with whatever you are seeing UI here, user interface, the screen. Here only it will update that relevant additional grandparent column here. Merge query as new means it will create again one more new module like ledger table. Here you are seeing, right? Ledger table new, another one more table will create. See here you can see all the list of tables from Tally groups, ledger table. Two tables are there. If I click as new, that will create one more new table. Now I don't want to create new table. Just I'll go with just a minute. Sorry, this label is disturbing. That Zoom label. I'm just moving. Okay. Here, see the primary table is ledger table. The secondary table is groups table. From here, if you see the common tables are this parent and a name. You know, how I can say common tables. See here in ledger table, it's a ledger name. This is group name, but Tally is defining it as a parent name. This is Tally actually this ledger group name. Sorry, is my voice is audible?
Yeah, Babu, very much audible.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
In fact, members, merge query is very important. Please pay for attention to it.
Yeah, seriously, I'm telling to users. Recently, also every day I'm practicing on Power Query only. I'm doing many activities on Power Query for my day-to-day activities, for my client activities. I'm using after my 9 hours activity. I'm using this Power Query templates. I'm creating Power Query templates out of 9 hours, 7 hours for this one only. I'm creating multiple tables just to automate values, and also using this merge query and append. There are many other features. Using this one, I'm saving more time for my clients. Maybe I don't know how you will understand. You just explore. I'm just giving here one small examples how this will work. You just explore for your day-to-day activities. It will save more time. I'll give you one more example before going to here. Recently, I did one small tool. The client is giving all PDFs, maybe thousands of PDFs they are providing for their resources attendance table. Previously, there are around 20 to 20 plus members are sitting and updating manually, seeing that PDF in Excel. In our latest version in Excel, we have a PDF conversion option. Using that one, using Power Query, I did complete manual automation that will give you employee ID, project where how many hours he spent, and also there is one more additional external table file for each employee wise project wise there is a rate. The two tables I'm merging and giving final output. Just clicking the refresh button, they are getting that final summary and they are billing based on that one. It is saving almost 2 weeks time and also 20 members time. Just using Excel only, we did that automation. We don't want to create more big auto tools. Just using this Power Queries, you can create and you can save your time, and also you can get exact values, accurate values. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyhow, I'm coming back here. See, this is a ledger table. For this ledger, this is a parent. Parent means group name. Here, if you see in group, it is a name. These two will match. Okay, here there are multiple options. You want to get values based on left outer, right outer, or full outer. I'll come to this later. Now I'm just taking left outer. Left outer means based on this first table, it will take the values like how VLOOKUP will work that way. See, here it is giving the values. Here I want to take only parent of that group. Now I can see here the SBI Bank, the group is bank account, and that parent group is grandparent current assets. For say Infosys also I shown you right. For creditors, it's a current liability. Automatically it is giving. For your maybe financials preparation or day-to-day reports preparation, you can use this one and you can apply pivots, or you want to summarize some values. There are beautiful options in UI itself. Otherwise, there are some limitations also here. Indirectly, you can't get some features. If you know some script, or there is a very beautiful thing recently where everyone are using ChatGPT, you can apply some additional script you can get from Google or somewhere else. Using that functions, you can create more summarized reports from here also. But this is very powerful. It will give you quick reports, quick refresh. Maybe if you are using browser reports also, sometimes it will buffer and it will give you the values. Here it will give very quickly. If your system is working perfect, the RAM and processor is good, it will give you perfect report and with seconds. Okay, this is how the sorry, merge query will work. Okay, up to here, any doubts? No, very nice. Thank you so much. Quickly, okay, anyhow, just I'm showing this method how it will work. Using this method, you can apply your day-to-day activities, these methods in your day-to-day activities. Okay, clear. Next, okay, there are some few codes I created for our demo purpose. I'll show you. Don't want to type multiple times. Okay. See again, I'm just going through this way. Okay, previously I've written script in editor. Here you can directly connect if your port is in live. Otherwise, you have to write script through advanced editor. For Tally, most of the time, 99.99% your report will be available through Excel. You can directly connect this way also. You can fetch your data. This is again, I'm showing you, this is default feature only. Ledger is already available in Tally. It's not customized with any collection. It's default collection. You can fetch some data because I want to show you here another third feature of append. How that append will work. Again, it is giving name as a query. Okay. Sundry creator table. I'm just again I'm going through query ODBC. Select this code. I'll give you this codes also. This is very simple codes only. There is no debtors. Just I'll quickly create one data. I just created. Go and refresh here. See, I received data's value, data's address details also. This is just data's and creators address details. Now I want to show debtors and creditors into single table one by one. First, I want to show these are all 5 rows. Below that, I want to show debtors records. Okay, for this, you can use append query. 2 tables or 3 tables. Since already creditor table is there, now we want to send debtors table to this place. If you have multiple tables also, you can insert this way here. See, it is coming here. See, again, I am telling you, append query means it will update in the same table. Append query as new means it will create a separate table. I'll show you this one also for your better understanding purpose. Creditors and debtors. See, it is created append one. Okay, with debtors and creditors. Okay, this is how the Power Query ODBC and merge and append functions will work. Now I'll show you how to fetch some custom reports from Tally through Power Query. Creating these collections are very easy. If you don't know also, it's fine. You just connect with your vendors or Tally supporters, or you connect with me or with us also. We will support you. Whatever you want, I'll show you here. Just it's a very simple 10 or 15 line item script. Just we can create and we can store that script into Tally. You can fetch the same data from Power Query. For example, someone has asked if there is a 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs records. If you want to fetch from Tally, This way you can fetch very quickly to Excel for analyzing. See, again I'm showing from here how daybook will come to Excel. It is very simple. If you have large data also, it will come very quickly. I just created one simple daybook report. I want to extract and I want to do some analysis based on daybook. See, from daybook also I'm fetching date, voucher
Can you
number.
just go to the end of this sheet?
Sure, sir. End of the row or column, sir?
Row.
Okay. There are 30 records.
There's the 32. So friends, if you see this 32, if you go in the tally, press that Excel export, it has to create that instance. So someone, I think R. Bhuttad sir was asking high volume sales and purchase register, can we do it? Yes, you can do it, and it would load almost in the same time which is happening here. This
Yeah,
is
it's very
faster
simple,
than
sir.
the Excel.
Yeah, exactly. It's very simple. How you want, you will have to give these headers names. For example, from purchase voucher also, I'll show you. Is there any purchase voucher? Okay, there is one purchase voucher. There are many features in many values in purchase voucher. Just you'll have to first give us, okay, I want from purchase vouchers date, number, and supplier invoice number, date, supplier name. Within supplier, there are many features. There are subforms. These are all features. In column, I want to see in columns. These are all features. Ledgers. Or if you give these are all the things with, so for example, 60 columns. Column 1 for voucher number, column 2 for voucher date. Suppose column number 25 for item, 30 for quantity, something. If you give this way, we can easily extract data through Power Query. Just you'll have to give what all information you want in this columnar way. See here also, if you see in daybook, you can't see in this format. In daybook also is showing just date, party name, and voucher type, voucher number, debit and credit amounts, maximum 5 or 6 columns. Here we just downloaded almost 15 columns of data with multiple vouchers. See here, major thing, voucher number, voucher date, voucher type, then party name. I'm just extracting, and major one, ledger. For this ledger also we are seeing, is it liability and asset, and for that the parent groups and grandparent groups, and debit and credit. If you just apply pivot also, you can see the debit credit nullifying or not. It will 100% will nullify. It will give you the zero values. From here you can filter based on groups, and you can apply pivots. Or if you know Power Query, if you have any specific reports you want to construct in Power Query itself, you just write small import script. It will give you summarized reports based on this data. Just I'm showing you a daybook here. As you requested, purchase also we can able to extract. I'll show you purchase also. There is a script with me. Just give me a second. Yes. This is purchase data. Purchase sales. This is one way. Another second way, SOAP request. We can send script also from Tally. Sorry, from Excel to Tally. Okay. Now, load is not enabled. I don't know. I'll have to check. We can extract. So here also can show you. For payment vouchers also, okay, there are some UDFs, that's why it's not extracting because that's not loaded. Okay. Voucher type from purchase voucher also we are extracting voucher type, voucher number, voucher date, party name, reference number and reference. That means supplier date and supplier number and party taxable amount, IGST, CGST, SGST. This summarized amount we are extracting from all the vouchers. Clear? Okay.
Babu,
Any
can
doubts
you
up
move
to
to
here?
the let function also?
Sorry, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, quickly I'll show you let function.
Babu, start with the simple let A is equal to 5, B is equal to 7, and
Sure.
A into B,
Sure, sir.
so that we understand how do we
Sure,
define
sir.
the variables, and then we can go to the next one.
Sure, sir. Okay. Let is a advanced function. You will get it in Office 365 only. Office 365 and more than 2019 version. If you're using, you will get it. Otherwise, you can go and see in your Office spreadsheet accounts. There you can see this account. Otherwise, below versions you can't get let and lambda or advanced functions. Okay, here how it will work. There are multiple, maybe 255 plus arguments are there. This is a advanced formula you can create inside one script within the let. Here I'll show you how it will work. Number one, it is see in the arguments also is saying name. Here I'll show you for your better understanding. First, the first name is rate. I'll give you rate value. Want to manipulate rate and quantity. Sorry, rate is 50 rupees. See here also it is showing name to. See, I just type name. For this name value, I'll have to give value. Value is 50. Then again it is asking name to or calculation. Name to. Quantity value 2. Okay, then calculation. Rate value. Sorry. See, it is giving automatically rate 50, quantity 2. It is multiplying and it is giving result as 100.
So for a small function like this, it appears that why are we complicating doing this? But when you start actually exploring the variables being defined, you will get the power of it. Now we'll go to the next one of it.
Yeah, this is one example one how you can get. For example, here I have some sales value. For within this, I want to add transportation value. If it is crossing 50,000 rupees, 10%. If it is not crossing 50,000 rupees, you want to add 5%. Okay, I'll show you with let function how it will work. Okay, before that, I'll show you how it will help. For example, in general way, we will use if condition. Okay, within the if condition, my first thing, if, right? In if also there are 3 arguments. One is logical test, and if it is true, the result value will come. If it is false, the false result value will come here. The first thing, logical value, I just taken this sales value. If it is a 50 greater than, okay, less than 50,000 rupees, then you should add 5%. Again, I'll have to add, just to understand, we can apply multiple ways. I'm just for your understanding purpose, I'm adding here this way into just 5%. Suppose if it is greater than 50,000 rupees. One point, okay, I'll add 1.7. That's okay. This is my value. See, totally 76,000 rupees. 76,000 rupees are greater than 50,000 rupees. That is why it is adding 1.7, 1,29,000 rupees amount. Okay, just you can imagine it's a transportation amount I am including for sales value. This is total bill amount. Okay, here how we can use let, how it will help. Within this only I will show you how we can use let. See, for this, maybe we can create multiple variables, how I should rate quantity, something else. Similar way here also, I'll create sales value. See, using this variable, I can replace wherever I'm using multiple times this sum. Sorry. I can replace this variable. Okay, you seen the difference, right? Previously, without closing this closing bracket, it was giving error. Now it is giving value. Suppose here I'm using browser Excel option because in my local application, I don't have updated version. That's why I'm using browser Excel of Windows spreadsheet. That's why I'm seeing let. Here there are some limitations, but if you local application, automatically the spill will work and it will automatically take this closing bracket. Okay, anyhow, I don't want to go in deep. See here, I'll show you from single ribbon. See now if you see, this is one simple next step comparatively previous one. See here, I'm creating one sales value. Here I'm storing this value. Wherever I'm using in if condition that same variable, I'm using this variable instead of that sum, this sum value. You understood, right? Any doubts until here? You just let me clarify on let function. How this will work? Maybe you can able to see from here how we are achieving these values. Okay, then I'll show you one more example for let. Okay. Yes, sorry. Subtotal. Within subtotal, I'll select few of the arguments. Within subtotal, maybe there are many function formulas. You can average, you can count, max, min, total, sum. Okay, here 9 means it's a sum. Okay, I'll take sum. Then average, max, min to show these values in that way. Okay, this is my input value. Okay, just for your information, I'm showing here. If I want to take totals, this is my first line. From subtotals and sequence number 9, average to. Just for your understanding purpose, I'm creating this table. This is one from subtotal function. Total aggregate number, then max score number, min Serial number 4, min 5. Yeah, it's 100% is correct only. I'll double check one time. The average is 1, min max 4 and 5 is correct. Okay. Oh, max 4, min 5. Okay, done. Okay, how this will help and how we can automate showing totals, average, max, min values. I'll show you here. Before that, okay, anyhow, I'll show you. Number 1, sales value. My second argument is input. Here I'm using choose. I'll explain why I'm using choose. Here my first argument number 9, 1, 4, 5. Then subtotal. I'll update this one. Then I'll explain you why I'm using these other things. Then sales value. Wait a second. Yes.
Always when you are using arguments, this is common thing we miss is freezing of the cells.
Range is. Sometimes if you type wrong values also, it will give wrong value. Just give me a second.
Probably looks okay.
Here maybe I can take directly also. Okay, I did some right. Okay. This is the direct range. This is my input value. This is my aggregate value. And subtotal. Hope it should work. Yeah. I did mistake here.
Yeah, we shouldn't sum there. It's only defining the sales value
Yeah.
is in E column.
Yes. Okay. Now I'll explain you one by one. We got 76,062. Here also I'll apply on some formula. I'll show you. See here 76,062,000
I
rupees.
just apply it to the right side, Baba. Yeah, put it
Yeah.
there.
See total amount 7662 is a total amount. Now if this is my input value, I'll highlight here. Maybe in Excel I can do bit better presentation in local presentation. Quickly I'll show you for your Okay. See, this way we can create total average. Maybe when you're creating dashboards, a total, if you click total, the total value will come average, min, max, this way. But in browser, that extension is not there. But that's why I'm creating a manual input value here to show you. Suppose if I press 2, see, it is taking average value here. If you want to know average value, is it right or wrong, we'll apply and see. The second number, I given second number, now it will take average value. See here, I'll show you average formula. See, it is matching. Okay. If I add 3, now it's a maximum number. Here also I'll change maximum number. See, maximum number is matching. This is let value. I'll highlight here also.
Babu, now go back to the let and we'll explain that function now.
Yeah.
Just take the function to a text file or yeah, okay. So friends, now you understood the original thing. In a let, we are defining variables and doing it. So
Yeah.
in
Please.
this, if you notice, the sales value is defined. It is all there in the column E. The input, what the input is there in L31. Basically, we are now trying to choose in L31 under the 4 means. If you see on the down, it is like min, max, total, average. Basically, right now I'm applying a subtotal function. So in subtotal, Babu, can you now escape? Right now, what is that we have done? It's a minimum or max. Min is there, yeah.
Yeah, 4.
Use the subtotal instead of min function is equal to subtotal. Yeah, so it's
Min 5.
min 5 comma go to the reference E. All right.
8.
So if you notice, this subtotal has been applied in this way. The final result was subtotal. So
Yes.
whole of the function has got into one cell, saying that you are defining. Now this, you can carry it anywhere. Since the sales value is defined, everything is defined, you can start using it, and it would be very difficult if we start giving you high level functionality of the let, but this is something which we would say you start practicing.
Here one more important point, in let you can add multiple functions. For example, here you added maybe within the 4 line items subtotals. Here only you can add sum if yes. You can create a table, columnar table or row wise table, and you can consolidate totals at the titles below totals, colors, everything you can apply from let itself. This is just beginning and very simple example we shown here. If you want to create more thing, it will allow you can create more also. Here you subtotal, you can update sum if yes, count if yes, average. There are many functions you can create within let itself using the default variables. You can calculate multiple values, you can display multiple values using this let formula. Yes, any doubts up to here?
I guess now they have to practice more. Some of them have asked that in case of a doubts, feel free to reach to us. We are here to assist you, and definitely you will excel yourself in especially management reporting and automating your daily tasks.
Yes.
Babu, anything else? I think we have shown all the
Yes,
things,
we
right?
shown also. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just summarize whatever we have learned today in terms of the tech session. First, we have looked at how do I automate simple process of sending receipts or payments or anything. So we looked at a payment automation, automatically emailing the payment details to your customers, handling exceptions to that. Second, in terms of reporting, extracting the data from Tally to Excel using the Power Queries. We have seen that. Third, we learned how to use the let function. This session is being recorded, so you'll get a copy of recording to you on your email, registered email ID, so that you can watch this again, practice it slowly. Any further comments, feel free to reach back to us. We will share you a feedback form. Once you submit your feedback, you will get a link for downloading the today's both the practice files and the presentation. We are happy to assist you more. Your feedback is important, which will help us to plan and train the future sessions. And at the last, I should thank Ashika for a wonderful theory session and Babu for an excellent practical session. It's been a while we were missing Babu, and thank you joining back and taking the session, Babu. And very important thanks to the participants. Like your presence here will make us active and do the sessions regularly. Thank you for joining the sessions regularly. Thank you, everyone.